Good.
Good? Okay. All right. First of all, I want to say, first of all, I'm Raul, and my wife Gloria is behind the camera there. But I want to say, first of all, thank you for renting our camper, which in this case, in this video is Bonnie. So this video is the walkthrough that we would do, basically the training walkthrough that we would do on your pickup day. So this is going to be more of a supplement to that walkthrough. You look at it, see what to expect, but we will still go through a walkthrough. That is, unless I've contacted you and told you that I will not be available and I'm sending a representative. In that case, you need to go to this video, all right, to understand everything, because I will not be available. I'll have a representative there, but they're not gonna know the camper and the steps that I go through like I do. So that's where this video would be required. Other than that, this will be the same thing that we go through on the day you pick up. Definitely believe that the more informed you are of all the systems and everything that we can cover, the more successful your trip's gonna be. Where this really adds to the trip and doesn't become a pain, you know, trying to figure things out or maybe causing damage or anything. So this is vital in understanding this. That way you can enjoy your family time or whatever it is that you have planned. So please read through this and always contact me, or please go through this, look at the video, and contact us if you have any questions at all at any time. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go through, start going through the checklist, and I'm gonna be viewing my phone here because I actually have the checklist and I wanna make sure we go through the same thing. So the first thing is driving. Before, I mean, in the process of you renting, I have already probably asked you if you towed before or not, but there's some things that we want to understand. Most people have towed before, maybe not a camper, but understand the height, which the height will be in the document that I send, PDF file about the camper. So understand the height and watch for obstructions, which may not be on the road or you know, on the highway on your way to your destination, but if you're going home to pack up, you know, watch for trees and stuff like that. And even in some parks, you need to be cautious of some of the obstacles like trees and stuff, but usually those are pretty clear. So understand the height. Obviously wider right turns, wider turns in general, wider right turns. Make sure you're using your mirrors to see where you're at on turns. And then there's the backing up the trailer. Now, if you have never towed a trailer, more than likely I am going to make myself available. We're going to spend some time driving around and stuff, but if you've towed a trailer before, you know that backing up can be kind of strange at times in the way the trailer reacts to backing up. So be aware of that. And on this trailer, you want to keep, I have on here, keep it 65. You do not want to go over 70 miles per hour. We're always going to ensure those tires are inflated to the proper levels, and we're always going to make sure that they're in the right condition. That being said, road hazards can cause problems with tires, obviously, and speed. You're responsible for the trailer. We'll talk more about that as you take it. That includes the tires. Like I said, we'll make sure they're in good condition, inflated properly, but if you go too fast, you may cause a blowout, and also there's road hazards. So 65, no more than 70 when you're towing the trailer. So those are the points on driving. Now let's look at the outside stuff we're about to go through. First of all, I have a separate video on the hitching process. That's with the weight distribution bars and everything like that. That's its own video. That tends to be, we'll spend some time going around the outside, but then we'll spend probably the same amount of time trying to go over the weight distribution. So that's a separate video. View that video to understand how to attach those weight distribution bars and sway control to your vehicle. It's not hard, it's just that there's a lot of steps to doing it. It's not really that there's a lot of steps, it's just the things that you have to do to get that prepared and make sure it works right. So view that video. What we're gonna go into next, we're gonna go ahead, when you get to where you're going and you back in and you're gonna get ready to disconnect, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is level side to side before you disconnect anything. So we're gonna go ahead and jump. I'm gonna skip ahead to leveling because it makes more sense for the video here. So you've gotten to where you're going, you found your spot, parked near your electrical and your water. That's where you want to be. what you're going to want to do next is I have a toolkit in here. And this toolkit is a level. So while your vehicle is still hooked up, you want to grab this level and you're going to check your side to side. See how level you are from side to side. And so what I mean by that is what we usually do is you take this level and move that out of the way, and we'll check this way to see how level we are. So we want it going that way, and here we're pretty level, and that's going to be what you find at most parks. Is if you want a state park, you're going somewhere like that, you're probably going to be level, but you're going to have it like that. So let's say your reading was kind of leaning that way. So that would mean that this side of the trailer that we're on would need to come up in order to get your bubble into a level area. So while you're connected again to the hitch, you determine that this side needs to come up in this example. So that's what these blocks are for. So what we do is that we're gonna lay our blocks there. My wife will usually be out here. I'll drive forward, and when I've driven forward enough, she'll kick them in. I'll drive back over the blocks to lift this side up a little bit. Okay? So that's how that works. In the case where you're extremely unlevel, and let's say you need to use two, you don't want to stack them this way. It's going to be hard for the tires to go on them. You're going to want to make a ramp for them, and we have more blocks in the storage area there. Or you may have to use less for the tongue hitch. So for the tongue jack. So this is the ramp you want to make. One here, push them in, and then again drive over them, depending on how much you have to lift them up. So that's how you would level. Whatever side you use these on, you're going to use this chock that goes in between the wheels to chock that side. And that's because the normal chocks would not work because you have it lifted up off the ground. This simply goes, and I use it with the bolt down to the bottom. This simply goes in between the tires, and then you use this wrench, which will be in the white box. Use this to tighten them up. Okay, make sure you're going the correct way. Put it all the way in between those tires, and then tighten up. Tighten them all the way, and that's what you would use to chock that side. So now you're level side to side. You don't need the trailer hooked up to the you don't need the trailer hooked up to the truck anymore, your vehicle anymore. One thing I want to notice is before you take the vehicle off the trailer, make sure you chocked up. So we just chocked up that side on the level side. I do have the red chocks right there. All right, and there's one in front of the tire and one in the back of the tire. So before you disconnect that truck, make sure you are chocked up. And let's revisit the leveling thing. If you find that your site is level and you don't need the blocks, that's fine. You're still going to use both sets of chocks. Use the red on one side and use the metal chock on the other side. It doesn't matter if you're not putting blocks on there. You're still going to use both chocks just to make sure that the trailer's secure. And it's also that metal chock is also going to help with stability to keep the trailer from shaking so much. All right. Once you're chocked up, now you're ready to disconnect, which again, refer to the distribution bar video, the weight distribution bar video, which is going to show you how to disconnect. Because it's not simply about sliding that, moving the slider back and disconnecting. You're going to need to do a couple of extra steps to get those bars off of there. So now your vehicle is off and parked away. And the next step is you continue on with the leveling process, and that would be front to back. So again, we're going we're going in here and basically we're laying our level that way, and we're determining, okay, well, you know what, that front needs to come down some more, right? So in this case, we're just using the tongue jack, the electric tongue jack, to level front to back. So I know that this has got to come down. So I'm gonna bring it down a little bit, go check the level, or have a partner over there who's turning the level, let me know, who's gonna let me know when it's level. Okay? So leveling is done, side to side, front to front, front to back. I'm gonna lock up my trailer now, make sure all this stuff is back on here. This will be in the toolbox if you're riding. I'll put this back on there to make sure nobody, if you gotta go somewhere, help it a little bit. It goes right in there, snap in place. The trailer's secure now. Okay, one thing we didn't mention, when you do get parked and you get leveled out, you can drop these, or you need to drop these stabilizing jacks. For Bonnie, there are 4 of them, 1 on each corner, and these are simply used to stabilize the trailer. What you're gonna do, bring them down using the drill. And what we don't want is too much pressure on these. Some people will use this for leveling, so they'll really torque them down. But all you really gotta do is, once you're level, it's just right there. I mean, that trailer's just gonna lift up just a little bit, and it's really, all these jacks are just supporting the trailer. So make sure don't torque them down too high, don't touch the ground, just give a little bump to the trailer, and then you'll know you'll have it supported, okay? Do not forget to take these up on 2 occasions. Number 1, obviously when you're leaving, but if you're leaving, you've already maybe done some damage, because if, for instance, if I had those back ones down right now and I tried to lift this electric tongue jack up, well, that trailer's tilting that way, right? So the ones in the back are getting pressure on them as I'm lifting this up. So before you move the electric tongue jack, you need to have these up off the ground to give you some space to move, okay? All right, so let's talk about propane real quick. So when the night before your reservation, we make every attempt to get out here and turn, hook the electrical up so we can turn on your refrigerator. So your refrigerator's nice and cold. I mentioned that because your propane is right here, and you're gonna have 2 bottles in here. 1 bottle, you'll have free use of 1 bottle. There's a charge if you go into the other one, but you'll be able to see the levels here. But these will be on, or we'll turn them on right when you're about to leave. The reason they're on is because when we disconnect the electric, your refrigerator will switch over to propane and will continue running and stay cold. You can drive with these propane tanks on. The only thing that you need to know is that you're supposed to turn them off before you go into a gas station. So be aware of that. If you need to go and get gas, you're supposed to turn them off and then go into the gas station. So those will be on. If you prefer, you can turn them off. If you don't have a reason to have the refrigerator cold, you can just keep them closed. Turning them off, they're just 2 normal 20-pound tanks. You just shows there open or closed. Just make sure you're turning it to the closed side or the open side, whatever you need to do. I will note the switch here. There's a switch back here that points to one of the tanks. In this case, it's pointing to this one. So you're running off of this one. It will automatically switch to the other one if it goes empty. You don't need to mess with it, but just be aware of that. Okay, so that's your propane. See what's next. So let's talk about hookups real quick. So now you're leveled out, you're parked and everything. And here I have a basket. All right, full baskets actually. A white one, this black one, and then we have a water hose. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take our water hose, and then this is a surge protector. Now at times, because we have it plugged in at the storage, we're using regular household 110 power. So sometimes you'll see a surge protector connected to this adapter. You don't need this adapter if you're at a park with 30 amp service. So we can just take that off. That's our surge protector, water hose. So for the water, you're going to always use, and if this pressure regulator, little brass fitting here, is not connected to the water hose, look for it in the white box. You're always going to use this. We have found that it's easier, and I can see that previous renter is connected in straight to the camper, which is fine, but we have found that it's easier and a more sure connection if you connect that pressure regulator to the side that's going to go to the fountain. Okay, so we connect it to there, put the pressure regulator on there, and then we connect to our city water connection right there. That's your water supply. Connect that up, turn your water on, you're good to go. Okay, if you're using a water tank, you'd be using the freshwater connection, which is simply a water tank where you would use a water pump since you have no supply here. I will mention this connection here on Bonnie. That's a black tank flush. You're not required to do that. If you'd like to flush it out, then that'd be great too. That you use the green water hose in there, connect it, and while the black tank is open, you can turn on the water to flush it out. Don't use it while it's closed. But that's how that would work. That's how that would work. But you're not required to do that. So. Let's talk about the electrical connection. Here is your electric cable. This is what would connect to your 30 amp service. Before you plug this in, plug your surge protector in. All right, your surge protector is going to have some lights here and has a diagram of what the lights mean. The only acceptable one is the 2 lights on the side are on. Connect that, make sure that electrical is right. If there's something wrong, get with the park staff, let them know. Once you verify that that's good, plug that into there, and now you're good. Your power is good to go. Okay, so those are the water and electrical connections. All right, while I'm here, I'll go ahead and show the outdoor shower, which could be real handy, especially during some months. But just use your storage key. You got hot and cold and a shower head. You can hang the shower head right there. All right, so this will help in conserving your gray water tanks. Your gray tank is gonna fill the fastest. All right, so people that are showering, washing dishes, brushing teeth, all that's going into the gray tank. That's what your gray water is. Your black water is your sewage. So that's people going to the restroom. That normally is not a problem filling up, but the gray water is. So if it's summer, people are rinsing off. Some people may decide to soap up and rinse off. And then also people are rinsing off cups, dishes, whatever it may be out here to conserve the gray water tank and not fill it up. Okay, so let's see what's next. I believe the dumping process. Yeah, so dumping process. So in this basket here, and we'll go ahead and take this over here. I won't go into great detail because again, I have another video that talks about the dumping process. You can view that for more details on this. But what we have in here is a stand. All right, you take this orange handle off of it, you extend the stand from the trailer dump hose to the sewage at the park. Our hose is in here, and you kind of see it right there. I won't pull it out, but that hose is what you would pull out of there, undo the cover here, attach your hose, and then to the other side of the hose you'd attach that connection, and that part right there would go into the dump station at the park. This part right there would attach the hose. All right, so that's everything you need. You should find some gloves in the storage that you can use. So dumping process is always black. You always dump the black tank first. So you're gonna pull that handle, let it flow out. Please let it flow completely out. So nobody likes to do this job, right? But especially if other people are renting the camper and we have to do it, there have been times where, for whatever reason, all the sewage was not dumped. So please dump your sewage, let it flow all out. Take time, let it flow out. After you're done with the black, you close it, open the gray, and again, let it completely flow out. The gray is a little bit smaller pipe, so it may flow a little bit slower. Please make sure that it flows out. After you're done with that, close it. If you're at a site with full hookups, you can set this up right when you get there, get the hose in there, but do not leave the tanks open. You will still have to monitor inside when the tanks get full, and then come out here and actually pull the levers to let the stuff out. Don't just leave them open, because that can cause problems. All right, so that's the dumping process. Like I said, I do have another video that kind of shows the steps of dumping. You can go to that video and on the outside here, you do have an electrical outlet that you can use for radios or whatever it may be, charging, or even fans if you're outside. And then you have this, which is the vent for the stove vent, or the vent hood. So if you're gonna cook in there, just come out here, release that to let the air out. In the other video where I discussed the inside, we talk about the awning. I'm just gonna mention it again here on this video. Use the awning if you want to. Today's a perfect day. There's no wind or anything like that, so use the awning. On Bonnie, you make sure you take these straps off. There are straps here, and they just simply come off, and you can leave them right in place, one on the other one too, and then bring the awning out. As I mentioned in the other video, the awning is going to probably be the biggest chance for a renter to cause damage to the camper. It's happened before. You know, I mean, we fixed it up. You know, no big deal from that standpoint, but it's a big deal because it is pretty expensive. But it's one of those things that's right underneath the insurance, so it really comes out of the deposit and stuff like that. So anyway, that is all the outside functions and the walkthrough of the outside portion of Bonnie, and the things that you need to know. We try to cover everything, or the most important things. Things may come up during your trip. We're always available, even if I wasn't available for your pickup day, always available for questions, phone calls, texts, whatever it may be. If you encounter something that you didn't, that we didn't discuss, or you forgot, or whatever, this video will have bookmarks down below, and you'll be able to jump to certain sections for reference. But you can always call us or text us if you need to know something. Other than that, again, we thank you for renting Bonnie, and we hope you all have a great trip. Thank you.